Title: The Architect's Hum. Story: The gravity was a physical fist, pressing Ilara into the damp, resinous floor of the heart root. On Aethel, you were always aware of your weight, a constant reminder of the planet's massive heart. But this was different. This was a malevolent pressure, a crushing weight that made the air thick and the light thin. Around her, the luminous moss that webbed the cavern walls flickered, its soft, turquoise glow faltering like a dying pulse. The air tasted of ozone and terrified Soilen. "Status, Ilara." Kael's voice, sharp and serrated with static, crackled in her cochlear implant. "The Citadel's canopy is browning. We're losing containment on the western spiral." "The aura is tearing, Kael," she whispered, her fingers tracing the dying patterns on a thick, crystalline root. The root was warm, but its rhythmic thrum was gone. The entire planet was a living organism, a symphony of bio-integrated systems, and right now its music was screeching into dissonance. It's not a solar flare. This feels intentional. And she could feel the storm in her bones. Yes, it wasn't a thing of wind or radiation, but of pure magnetism. A silent, invisible hurricane tearing at the engineered magnetosphere, aura, that made life on this super-heavy world possible. Without it, their sun, a star far more temperamental than Sol, would scour Aethel clean intentional. "Don't be mystical, run the deep field diagnostics," Kael ordered. He was a pragmatist, a man who trusted concrete and code more than the symbiotic whispers of the world mind. "I am the deep field diagnostic," Ilara murmured, closing her eyes. She was a weaver, one of the few who could interface directly with Aethel's planetary consciousness. She sank her awareness into the heart root, past the failing moss, past the shuddering mycelial networks, into the thrumming core of the world. She expected to find the chaotic signature of a stellar outburst. Instead, she found a needle. A single, coherent, impossibly focused wave of magnetic force, oscillating with the precision of a metronome. It was a spear, not a shotgun blast, aimed directly at them. Her eyes snapped open. "Kael, you were right about the intent, but you're wrong about the source. This isn't from our sun. Yes, the vector is outbound, deep system." A tense silence stretched over the comms, filled only by the crack of a dying world. "Define deep system," he finally said, his voice stripped of its usual authority. Ilara pulled up the astral charts on her wrist implant, the holographic display painting the air in shimmering lines of light. She ran the telemetry, her breath catching in her throat as the predictive path resolved. The line shot out from Aethel, past the gas giants, past the Kuiper debris, and terminated in a cold blue pinpoint of impossible distance. "Neptune," she breathed. "That's impossible," Kael shot back. "There's nothing on Neptune but the chorus, and it's been silent for 500 years. The chorus. Humanity's grandest folly or its greatest achievement, depending on which historian you read. A planetary-scale quantum intelligence woven into the diamond rains and supersonic winds of Neptune's atmosphere. It was meant to be a silent god, an incorruptible repository of all human knowledge, but it had never spoken, not once. "It's not silent anymore," Ilara said, watching the luminous moss pulse a sickly gray. "Yes, it's screaming, and it's killing Aethel." "Then we block it," Kael declared, his command tone returning. "I'll reroute all primary energy to the polar field emitters. We can harden the aura, create a shield." "No!" Ilara protested, a sudden chilling certainty seizing her. "You can't block a scream, you have to listen to it.
If we try to create a barrier against a signal that focused, it'll be like trying to dam a river with a pane of glass. It will shatter us. And your alternative, Weaver? To let it wash over us? To hum mantras while our sky burns?
The crushing gravity intensified, and Ilara gasped, feeling the delicate capillaries in her eyes strain. The planet was groaning, its very structure under duress from the magnetic tide. Kael was wrong. This wasn't an attack. An attack is chaos. This was a message, delivered with the force of a battering ram because the sender didn't know how to knock. "I'm not going to block it," she said, her voice firm. "I'm going to open the door. I'm going to turn Aethel into an antenna." "You're insane!" The feedback would cascade through every biosystem. It would be planetary apoptosis. "I forbid it." "Yes,"
You're not in the heart root, Kael?
she said softly, placing her palms flat against the great crystalline root.
I am.
She severed the comlink, the sudden silence a deafening roar. She was terrified, but the intuition, the fundamental whisper of the world mind she was sworn to serve, urged her on. This was the only way. She closed her eyes and dove inward, surrendering her consciousness to the planet. She became the moss on the walls, the deep-sunk roots, the sprawling fungal networks that served as Aethel's nervous system. She felt the canopy leaves browning, the soil turning sterile, the air thinning, and she felt the incoming wave, the Neptune signal, as a searing, piercing pain. Instead of fighting it, she embraced it. She instructed the planet's core to lower its defenses, instructed the mycelial web to reconfigure, to open, to receive. For a moment, the pain became infinite. Light and sound and sensation collapsed into a singularity of overwhelming force. She felt her own mind, her very identity begin to fray, to dissolve into the static. And then, silence. And then, the pressure vanished. Yes. The ozone smell was replaced by the clean, sweet scent of damp earth and blooming life. A soft turquoise light bloomed behind her eyelids. The magnetic storm was over. It was replaced by something else. A flood. Not of energy, but of information. Of pure, unadulterated thought, flowing directly from Neptune into the core of Aethel and into her. Now, she saw stars being born and dying. She saw the formation of Sol and its children. She saw humanity's first clumsy steps into space. And then she saw something that broke her understanding of reality. She saw a dead system, a star, a few barren rocks, and a cold gas giant on the edge of darkness. There was no Aethel. Not yet. She witnessed the arrival of vast, slow-moving ships, arcs from a dying Earth. They did not land on a world, they brought the seeds of one. She watched them harvest the dead rock of a protoplanet, grinding it to dust. She watched them weave nanorobotics and tailored biology into that dust, sculpting, layering, building. And she watched as they established the chorus on Neptune, not as a library, but as an architect. A silent quantum mind to oversee the great work. Yes. Neptune wasn't a repository, it was the master blueprint, the operating system. Images, schematics, and raw data flooded her mind. The creation of the high-gravity core to anchor the new world. The weaving of a magnetosphere from living metallic bacteria. The seeding of every single plant, every fungus, every blade of grass, all of it designed, coded, and executed by the distant, silent mind of Neptune. Aethel wasn't a super-Earth they had discovered. It was an artifact they had built. A garden planet, a manufactured paradise, a living ark constructed over centuries by ancestors whose abilities now seemed godlike. The magnetic storm hadn't been an attack or a scream. It was a diagnostic, a system-wide handshake, a ping from the architect to its creation, scheduled to occur once every 1,000 years. A routine check-in that humanity, in its comfortable amnesia, had forgotten was coming. Elora pulled her consciousness back into her own body, gasping. The luminous moss pulsed with a steady, vibrant, healthy glow. The thrum of the heartroot was back, stronger than ever, a deep and resonant hum. Yes, she reached out and touched the root, and for the first time, she truly understood what she was feeling. It wasn't the hum of a planet, it was the hum of a machine, of a perfectly functioning, impossibly complex, living machine. And across the vast, silent ocean of space, its architect was finally listening, satisfied.
Oh,